What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight for more lake breakdowns. I tried to confuse the heck out of my subscribers on Lake Buchanan. First video I actually put out there that it was a different lake, so I fixed that. And then I said it was my final lake breakdown on my last video that I posted, which was the third one, which it wasn't actually my final one. I still had more of the lake to break down. So I don't know what it is about this lake. It's definitely got me messing things up, but hey, we got it done tonight. This will be episode 4, the actual final lake breakdown for Lake Buchanan. I found some good stuff. The southern side, the southwestern side of this lake seems to be the better area of the lake for sure. Got lots of good stuff to go cover. Let's go check it out. Here we go. Let's jump in and let's finish up Lake Buchanan. So I tried to confuse you, like I said on the intro, with the other title, but fear not, we are going to finish this lake. Let's go ahead and talk over here on the left-hand side how I've got this broke down. So I've got it into a couple different categories. If you missed the first couple breakdowns, this is actually the 4th video. So if you missed the other 3, we started at the dam and we worked our way up the east side. And then we came back down east, north, and east side. Then we came back down the west side, and we stopped right here at Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor number 12. So we're going to start there, and we're going to work our way back down and finish at the dam, which will complete Buchanan. So I've got everything kind of broken out on this lake. One is by Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors. Those are all out there. If you guys have seen the videos or go back to video number 1, you'll see where I go out to the Texas Park and Wildlife fishing page and get those coordinates and then obviously just bring them in. We've also got channels and ditches that are out here. So this is going to be all the different creek channels or ditches that I was able to find through the satellite imaging. This is really cool because you're actually able to go up there and set your boat up correctly on these creek channels and these ditches in order to basically, be able to put yourself on a better, higher percentage area to catch the fish. You've also got all kinds of rock on this lake. There's a lot of underwater structure that's off the bank. So a lot of offshore fishing that I would say that's probably happening on this lake. At least if I were to approach this lake, especially now in June when I'm recording this, I'm going offshore all day pretty much on this lake. Cover, just some different kinds of cover. There's some laydowns out there, some points, some humps, some unique rocks that are out there. I don't think I only had a couple of them that were there. The rest of the stuff is just pipes, ditches, ledges, all kinds of good stuff we're going to talk about. And then finally, the boat ramps. If you guys have ever heard me talk about the boat ramps, it is a great pattern in certain times of the year, so don't discount it. And if you get on that boat ramp pattern, you definitely have plenty of boat ramps here to fish. And then the other thing, too, is kind of nice from a safety perspective, just knowing where all of your closest ramps are in case you need to get over to the shore. All right, so let's go ahead and let's break down the rest of this lake. I'm going to draw this lake back down to 2015, January of 2015. So if you're doing this with me, the imaging that I'm using is for January 2015. I'm going to move this box over a little bit, and we are going to get started. So let's zoom in here to number 12. And we're going to start there, and we're going to work our way back down here to the dam. Again, if you missed the other videos, there's 3 other videos out there. You can go to my lake breakdown playlist, and you can get all of those. I've also got the link in the beginning of the video, too, you can click on. All right, so let's go ahead and go over here to Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor number 12. Right here, this is where the fish attractor is. I can't really see it on the imaging. Maybe it wasn't there in 2015. I'm not sure. There was one that we did see the other day, though. So definitely want to go there and check that out. But look at this right here. This rock formation is awesome. You've got a ledge, and the reason you know there's a ledge there is because you can see the shade behind that ledge. You know fish are going to set up on this thing. They're going to set up really close to that, get really tight to that, get up here and feed, come back down here and hang out. That's going to be a great place to find some offshore fishing. You definitely want to go out there and look at that area. You've also got some more rock up here, a little bit more shallow. So a little bit of a rocky area right in here. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit of rock. It does look pretty shallow, so that's definitely going to, something that you want to take into consideration. You've got a ramp here as well. Some really shallow looking stuff in here, just some rock. But again, depending on the time of year, that could be a good, good place to look. But other than that, I'm not seeing a ton of stuff on the bank line. There's a little bit of rock here, nothing really even to just to, I would say, be worth your time to go over there. Maybe in the spring, but I don't know. That just doesn't look too attractive to me. You've got a ramp here as well. Now down here by this public boat ramp, it looks like the Lane County public boat ramp. You do have some pretty good riprap that's all around this area. I'm sure you're going to get some shoreline fishermen as well in this area as well. But the thing to really pay attention to is it's pretty shallow in here. So again, it's going to be a timing thing. It's going to be a seasonal thing of when those fish are actually going to come up here and get this shallow. Now, if I move this back up to 2022, this is going to look totally different to you. And you're going to be like, dude, that's really not that shallow. But it's shallower, and with this Texas heat, that water is going to warm up pretty fast. So this stuff's going to get pretty hot pretty fast. All right, so we're going to keep moving out. Didn't see too much out here. Off this point, there is this little area right in here where you can kind of see some debris and stuff. Maybe go check that out and just see if anything's hanging out around that area. You're going to have to do some scanning out there to look at it. But again, I didn't really see enough to be able to really mark anything for you. But if I was going to go out here and only had this area, maybe just this area to fish, I would probably go out there and scan around the outside edges of these points and just see if I could find anything out here. All right, as far as the imagery goes, we got the riprap up there. We've also got a little isolated rock pile that comes out here a little bit of ways. It's a pretty chunkier rock, and then you got this rock up in here. I can see this being a good area. Again, probably, in the fall or the spring when the water's cooler, but I could definitely see them pulling up here. You've also got, if you pull out here, you've got some just random boulders. There's like 4 or 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one there, and there's one here as well. This could have some potential as well. Those rocks up there, you can kind of see it's almost like a little ridge line. So you could fish right around those rocks as well. All right, let's zoom back out, show you guys where I'm at. I am just east of Highway 261. So if you're trying to follow along with me, I'm going to keep coming down here. We're at the Black Rock Park. As we get into here, there's not a lot going on in this whole little area, but there's this hard spot that's right here. You can see it sticks out like a sore thumb. Little rock pile over here, real hard top. Maybe just looks like possible old boat ramp or something right in there. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's going to be your hot spot in that area for sure. You definitely want to check that out if you're fishing up there shallow. Got a couple more boat ramps over here. You got a boat ramp here, a little bit of rock going on here off of this point. So if you're doing the shallow diving crankbait thing and they're really, really shallow, you could get up here around these rocks, potentially have some luck. Again, not a lot going on the bank line back in here. No big creek channels, no big rock formations, nothing crazy that I can tell. You've got a little bit of a creek channel coming through here, but it's really not that established, so I didn't even mark it for you guys. As we move down here, we got a couple more ramps. Now let me show you again where I'm at, just right over here by 261, right over that curb. Got a bunch of ramps back in here. Got some more down in there as well. Now, if you pull off just a little bit outside this community center, and get out here a little bit further offshore, there's a nice little rock pile that's out here. And it's got some pretty good shade, so it looks like they're pretty decent sized rocks. So check this out. Maybe come over here and check this out as well. I'm thinking they're going to attract in here a lot more. There's a fish attractor site that's there as well. And then just outside that fish attractor site, there's this rock that's out there that this looks really cool. And I could definitely see them relating to all of this stuff right in here. So again, just like we saw in the other videos, lots of good offshore stuff on this lake for sure. Let's take this right here and let's pull it back up to 2022. And I mean, look, this looks awesome. Just looks like a great place to go out and find some fish. Got good breaks out there. Maybe they can come in here and spawn and go out there for the summer and the winter time, or come up in here in some of these spawning bays. So definitely a good area to go and try to find some fish. I'm going to draw this back to 2015. Let's keep moving down. We're just following Highway 261. So if you're trying to keep up with me, I'm just kind of going down the highway here. Lots of ramps. So we're not really going to zoom into all those ramps. That'd probably be kind of boring, but you can see there are plenty of them that are out there. But just outside this point where this dock is, this looks like more of a deeper dock, or at least a dock that's going to stand out to you. You're going to be able to pick it out pretty easily. But just outside of there is some rock that comes along through here. And there's also, I put rock right there. Let me move that and see why I put rock. I must have seen rock there at a different year. Let me go back to 2014, and there's the rocks. That rock actually disappeared in 2015. I don't know if it's just covered up with a lot of soot or whatever, but you may want to go out there and check that out. Just see if you can find anything out there. You've got plenty of ramps in here to fish around. A little bit of rock going on around here. Again, this is pretty shallow. And you can tell it's shallow lock because look how long these docks are. They've all got really long walkways. But again, coming through here, not seeing too much. There's a little bit of rock in here off this little corner. If you zoom in, I didn't mark it. I probably should have marked it and just put rock there. Let me go ahead and do that while we're on here. And I'll add that to our waypoints. So we'll put some rock there. Now that, again, not a real high percentage area, but I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of got its own little point there. There's a little bit of a drop there if you look at it from the, from high out. So maybe you got a little bit of a depth change there. And then you've got really the only hard spot in the entire area. So I could see that being pretty decent. I also didn't see this out here. I wonder what this is. That just looks like some canoers or something. All right, so let's keep moving back. As I move into here, let's zoom back out real quick and show you where I'm at. Now we're getting more towards the south end of the lake. So as we get over here by this Willow Point Resort. If you go outside of it, obviously quite a ways out here, there's another one of those little hard spots. And it's right in here. And I could see that having some really good potential. You've also got some underwater brush going on down in here too. So you could look on the outsides of these brush lines. They could set up on those. So that has some potential, but definitely look at that rock. Also over here along the bank line, this is shallower, but you've got some rock in here as well. And you got a little rock pile out here too that you could check out. So just some really good offshore stuff. Definitely look in here though. I didn't mark it. I don't know how I can mark this for you, but look in this area, scan in this area where all this brush and stuff is and see if it's still there, the remnants of it, and get on the outside edges of it and just see if you can find any fish that are relating to that. That could be one of those spots where you just you'd overlook it because it doesn't show up on a map. You wouldn't know it was there unless you had the satellite imaging. All right, so let's keep moving down. We've got more ramps. We've got a ramp here. We've got some really good rock piles that aren't too far off the shore right here. You got one right here, real good rock coming around this point. But then if you notice, I figured you would see this rock here if you're fishing shallow, but you might not notice that there's rock right underneath the boat. So if you're over here pounding the bank line, you're actually probably fishing on a really good hotspot, or you're putting your boat right on top of a really good hotspot. You could also set your boat up here, and you'll notice you've got some rock piles out here. I've marked one here, and I've marked one here. But essentially, you could set your boat right here. You could be casting across this point, get anything shallow. You could cast out here and hit these little shallow rock piles that are out here. This is a good Carolina rig area all up in here. Or you could get up here and Carolina rig into those or shaky heads into those. And then, cast way out too. So you got a lot of good potential here. Also, your crankbaits, pounding the crankbaits off those hard spots. That can be a really good way to catch some fish too. So check out this area. I like this area on the southern part of the lake down here. It's got a lot of good offshore potential, and you can see there's a lot of different waypoints here. So as you come down here, another good rock pile right off the edge of this point. So these 2 points right here just look good. You got a lot of good rock piles. If they're setting up on the rock piles, you're in business on this lake for sure. So then coming down here, you've got more ramps. And then if we move up here outside of this dock, we got some more rock piles. This one looks pretty healthy right there. And this one's good. It's not as good as that one, but it's definitely good. Definitely something you'd want to look at, or at least go scan over and check out. As you move further out here, you've got some more rock piles here. Notice this one's a little bit more extended. Pretty good area. Again, great place to throw a Carolina rig. Getting out here off the edge of these points, it gets even better. You get really good rock little ledges going on in here. So real good rocky area here. I could see this one having probably, of all the ones we've talked about, this one and this one are probably the two, to me, that would have the highest potential to hold some fish right now in June. I would get as far out there as I could where that rock kind of stops at, and then try to fish there and then work my way back in. So real good rock in here, all in here. Got some pretty good contour changes going on here. Another good rock pile. Lots of good hard stuff in here. Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractors in here. There's a lay down there that's pretty shallow, but just all kinds of good stuff. You can see it. I don't even know how to talk about it all, but money spot right in there for sure on this lake. I'd spend a lot of time trying to find fish there, especially if I was fishing this time of year in June. Let's go ahead and pull that up to 2022, and now you can see what it looks like. So you're definitely off the shore, You're not up there, right against the bank line, but you're not that far off. So definitely check these out. These are all great areas to try and locate some fish. And you should have some pretty good depth out there too, especially once you get on the outside edges out here. All right, so let's move over. Let's see what else we can find here. Another good rock pile. Some really good rock right in here, real good hard spots, real good rock pile in there. You got a nice ramp here. And then if we get off this point, show you guys where I'm at, more on the very southern side. But as we get off this point right in here, really good hard spot, real good point. This is probably one of the better points that we've seen. It's got a hard spot all the way over. It looks like it's gradual on the break, but it's steep enough to where it's getting into some deeper water. And you've also got some rock out there off the edge. If I move this up to 2022, it's going to look like a lot deeper point, and that's definitely going to be a good one to look at. Now, if we look over here just to the right, if you notice all those little icons over there, there's some good stuff going on over here off the edge of this point as well. It sets up similar to this one. You've got rock here. I should have marked this too because this area right here looks good. Real good hard spot right in there as well. So I'll add that one in. And then as you follow this up, just stay on the outside edge where the hard stuff is. These are real good spots. Point, hard spots on a point. Definitely love it all. All good stuff right in there. Look at all that good rock that's there. And you can kind of just follow that around, and fish it like you're fishing the bank line, but you're fishing it further off, right? But just pretend that it looks just like it does right today, and you're casting up and getting around these rocks. You really want to get on top of them. All right, and then over here off of this point, real good hard spot coming off of this point. Again, if you're out here fishing, a lot of people are going to get up here and fish this stuff shallow, which you can definitely catch some fish there. But your bigger girls are going to be just a little bit off, pretty much right where everybody puts their boat at for the most part. They're going to put their boat here. Actually, if they would turn around and cast this way, they'd probably catch a bigger fish. But most people are going to cast in towards this. But if you get out here and you get off the outside edge, you could even set your boat up here on the inside and cast out and bring it in. Cast out and bring it in over all this hard stuff. I think you're going to have some good success doing that. As you move down here, you've got ramps, you've got some more scattered rock piles and things like that to check out. Really like this point out here. Real good hard spot, real good shade too. If you look how big these piles are, look at the shade that it's producing. So just really good shade on that pile there. And if I move that up to 2022, again, that pile's gone. That's probably a good place to knock your lower unit out, but definitely a good place to fish as well. So go check that out. That spot there looks really good. Really, really healthy. Kind of like those points. Those are high percentage areas to try to find some fish. You've also got some ramps back here. More rock kind of formations goes back in here. There's a little bit of a ditch here, but nothing too crazy. Didn't really see anything I could really mark for you guys there. Then as we move up, we've got some more hard spots. We've got some good rock right in here. Again, guys, get off the bank and fish out here. This is going to be where the fish are. They're not going to be up here. I mean, yes, there's going to be some small ones up here. And maybe every once in a while you get a big one that's up here feeding on the rocks. But for the most part, back up a little bit and fish out here. And you're going to be surprised at the success that you have on this lake. Also over here, you've got rock. Real good hard spot off the edge of this point, closer to deeper water. I didn't mark it because I don't know if I even noticed it before, but you have some timber that's right in here. So go out here in this timber, especially in the summer and the winter, and flip around all the bases of those trees and see if you can feel the roots of those trees. If you can, really let those jigs and things soak in the roots of those trees, really work them really well. And I think you might have some success out there in the timber too. So as we move up here, we just got more rocks, a little bit of rock here, a little bit of rock there. And then we got a ramp back here, and then we're actually up to our dam, but let's go ahead and talk about these right here, and then we'll finish out. So if we get down here, and let me show you where I'm at again, right here basically right by the dam, just south of the dam. So as I get out here, we've got some good rock piles right in here. Got another one right there that I didn't mark. I probably should have marked that one too. Tell you, this lake's got so much stuff. You're gonna have to spend some time scanning because there are so many things to fish. You're gonna have to spend some time scanning to pick it out which ones you want to fish. You've got some rock piles here as well. Got some additional rock in here, all up in there. And then as we get closer into here, this point looks pretty good. It's scattered rock piles, but some pretty healthy rock piles as well. So definitely check those out. You can't get that far in there because here's your buoys, but you could cast over the buoy and hit this one, but really just work that point just outside of the buoys right there. That's going to be a good point to look at. You may even have some current every once in a while when the dam's open. All that stuff's just going to be a good area to fish. Anywhere you're fishing around the dam is usually a good place to find some fish. And so that wraps us up for Lake Buchanan. We uncovered a ton of stuff on that lake. Having that lake go down as much as it does is kind of sad to see it drawn down like that. But when it is drawn down, man, we can find some crazy stuff. So make sure to go out to my website if you can, simplisticfishing.com. You can pick up all these waypoints. Have them put on a card, then basically just plug it into your graph and import them in. It will change the way you fish, guys. I'm telling you, it makes fishing so much simpler. So make sure you go check it out, and make sure you hit that subscribe button to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to look at more lake breakdowns, just go look at our playlist. I broke down 40 or 50 different lakes so far on YouTube. I've still got 20 or 30 in my backlog to cover. And plus, I'm adding more each day. So if you have some lakes you want me to break down, just send it my way in the comments, and I'll make sure to add it to the list. Until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.